Big D Entertainment, in association with Dipsy Doodle Productions, presents The Dave Holly Hour. Brought to you by Trio Jazz Club, Sioux Falls' premier jazz club. Enter as friends, leave as family. Phil's Pub. Phil's, your local dive with music for the people. Chaser's Food and Spirits. Excel Chiropractic, and Quality Nails. The Dave Holly Hour features Sioux Empire Arts and Entertainment Conversations. A true lover of arts, entertainment, good food, and fun times, including an occasional Jack Daniels. Okay, so a few Jack Daniels. Here he is, Dave Holly.
Cheers, everyone. Hope everyone had a great 4th of July weekend celebrating our nation's independence. Also, hoping it was a safe holiday as well. Today's guest is radio disc jockey Crash. Yes, if you're from this area, the Sioux Falls region, you know he is deserving of a one-name moniker. After you listen to our conversation, make sure to listen to him on the new Rock Farm on 101.1 FM. Coincidentally, a frequency that I spent some time at blabbering behind the microphone. So come on in, join us. Once again, we are waiving the cover charge here at the Dipsy Doodle Productions studio. Now, 3 words we don't say in the studio. Black tie formal. So come as you are, but it is BYOB. Per usual, I am sipping a Jasper Newton, the drink name I chose for a Jack Daniels Diet Coke with a lime. But first...
Honey, look at this!
Unbelievable!
Yeah! Yummy!
I know!
That'd be fantastic. You know what I'm talking about. Dave's Fave!
Each week we salute a person or business I feel is worthy of a shout-out for any number of reasons. This week's Dave's Fave, Woody's Pub. They serve breakfast Sundays until 1 p.m. This past Sunday was the first time my love and I had been there for breakfast after noticing the sign for it the previous week. 2 words. Damn good. Oh, Miss Carrie raved about her traditional breakfast, while I highly recommend the Woody's Scrambler. First of all, it comes out looking like a front cover picture on a chef's magazine. Then you bite into it, and you'll think you're a judge on a Best Chef show. Okay, it's wonderful. Get there. You will enjoy it. And by the way, all the rest of the time, they're a wonderful pub, too. Want to know other faves I have? Go to the Dave's Faves page on the show website, DaveHollyHour.com. After you look at that page, go to the trivia page to see our schedule at Chasers, West 12th and Ellis Road. Stop in for great food, great beverages, and fun times. Monday nights at 7, we play Dave Holly Hour Trivia with 7 fun rounds and great prizes. This Monday, July 13th, our theme is going to be Embrace Your Geekness. The most widely recognized pop culture celebration encouraging people to proudly display their own passion for fandoms, tech, or niche hobbies. Still having fun. At Chasers, your neighborhood gathering place. Honorable mention. What made Dave laugh, chuckle, chortle, downright slap my knee silly, or simply fill my heart with happiness? She fills it every time I hear her sing. Andrea Ross and the various jazz players around her this past weekend, tremendous. While her first show at Trio was sold out Friday night, we were able to get a pair of the remaining few tickets for the second show. She always brings it. That wasn't the end of the weekend. Then Saturday, she and most of them joined even a few more players for 4th of July at the Levitt. Now, we weren't able to attend, but from the videos and photos on the socials and response that I've heard from the many, many people that were there, she and the players were a rousing success. Way to go, Andrea, and all of the jazz players. Speaking of jazz, if you're looking for incredible live music this week, Trio Jazz Club has another fantastic lineup waiting for you. Thursday, the Brian Hannigan Quartet brings original jazz and fresh new music to the stage, led by Brian on saxophone. Friday, the Jeff Paul Group delivers an evening of innovative jazz with a dynamic lineup of musicians. Saturday, catch Neon City, an up-and-coming band blending neo-jazz and neo-soul with an exciting original sound. Then Tuesday, enjoy Terry Brooks and Joel Shotwell, followed by Peacock Cassette on Wednesday, bringing a unique mix of R&B, indie, and folk. Grab your tickets at triojazzclub.com, find your seat, and experience it live. In just a few minutes, an extended conversation with Crash on the Dave Holly Hour.
Dr. Perry Langston and Dr. Corey Tooney know excellence is in you. That's why they provide you with excellent care at XL Chiropractic, improving your overall health in spirit, body, mind, and will. Get results the natural way. Arrange a consultation, 605-332-9235 or xlchiros.com. Excellent care for excellent people. XL Chiropractic, located at 4309 South Racket Drive in Sioux Falls.
It's a fresh new look for DaveHollyHour.com. Besides catching up on episodes, find Sioux Empire Arts and Entertainment websites. See what Dave likes on the Dave's Faves page. Get more information about our wonderful sponsors. Check out the news and notes section to find out what past guests are up to, and sign up for our newsletter. It's all at your searching and surfing fingertips. DaveHollyHour.com.
Trio Jazz Club is an intimate music venue in the heart of Sioux Falls. It's family-owned and family-run. Ricardo and Mary Beth and the entire staff provide the art of hospitality, while the best local and regional musicians provide the smooth sounds. It's a great vibe with live music Tuesday through Saturday nights. The chefs and mixologists offer an amazing menu and beer and wine lists. Cocktails as smooth as the jazz. Join the club, Trio Jazz Club, across from the Washington Pavilion. Enter as friends, leave as family.
He's jazzed to the eyeballs. Once again, here's Dave Hawley. Crikey, mate.
Welcome back, everybody. You know how I love to talk. Sioux Empire, arts and entertainment. It's such a pleasure to do so. I also love it when I get a new guest on, and it's been way too long. Have wanted him for so long to be on this show.
Oh, you didn't try that hard, Dave.
Oh, secrets, you know. You were always booked, you know. People call me and they say, well, can you do that date?
Have your people call Mike.
Yeah. But no, I'm booked for the rest of the year, and they're both going to be great shows. We've known each other, what, probably quarter century now?
Decades.
Yeah.
Absolutely decades.
Wow.
You worked at the Tempest back in the day, yes?
No.
No.
No, didn't do that.
It might have been did you work for a print?
Yes.
Okay.
The City Weekly, which became the Monthly Mix.
It seems
I
like
interviewed
you. May have interviewed me.
I did.
In 1990 something.
Yeah, it'd be right about then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Round Y2K. That's how long we go back.
My goodness gracious. Woo.
Yeah. Well, we didn't have this gray hair when we
No, we
first
didn't.
met, though.
Well, you still have hair on top. Mine's gone there.
I'm hanging on to it, man. I'm hanging on to it.
Because you can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, the way that mine ended up was we were at a family reunion, and my brother and I are on one side of the picnic table, and our three cousins are on the other side of the picnic table. So my mother gets a photo of us. That's right, a photo, not a digital thing. And it comes back, and my head already had a huge bald spot on it. I said, that's it. Went into the barber the first day I could. And it's never really ever grown back. So saves on shampoo.
Well, yeah, it does. Less shower time.
Right. Well, I do keep up with you, obviously, on Facebook.
Through social media,
yes.
You bet.
And it's, that's one of those double-edged swords. There's great things about it, and then there's some stupid things about it.
Oh,
but
yeah.
One of the great things about it is keeping in touch with friends.
Right.
And it's been so fun, because we were talking about this before we started this conversation, that you love being able to post old pictures of you with certain bands, and you'll bring up the particular date. It was on this date that so-and-so played Sioux Falls, etc.
I'm blessed and cursed with a very good memory, number one. And again, Facebook tells you, hey, it was on this date that you posted this photo with Alice Cooper or Night Ranger or whoever it was. And so, yeah, it's fun to share those memories. And especially now that, I'm back on the air in Sioux Falls and in the market again, sort of got to reintroduce myself to people. And so social media is a wonderful way to reach out that way too.
And you were fortunate enough to get right back into what you loved.
Yeah.
Classic rock.
Yeah. Well, and we play new rock as well. We play everything from something that came out yesterday to something that came out 60 years ago.
Yeah.
We are
the Rock Farm.
You and I are old enough to remember AOR.
Yes.
Album-oriented rock.
Yep.
Where you heard stuff that you didn't hear anywhere else.
I know it. Yeah.
And that's what we're getting noticed for, is playing stuff that people have never heard on the radio or haven't heard in decades, or I had that album in high school. And so that's been the fun part too. We're still going to play the hits.
Right.
But old school radio people say, well, play the hits and then play them again.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Some of these songs have been beat to death. Honestly, I love AC/DC. I don't care if I hear Back in Black maybe ever again. There were so many other great songs. Let's play them. And
exactly.
So the bosses that I have over here at the Rock Farm in Laverne, 101.1 FM.
Which is a frequency I was on for 5 years and then various times throughout the course of radio career, part-time.
The decades that we bounced around up and down the dial, as they said at WKRP in Cincinnati.
And somebody bought the call letters for that now. Isn't it great?
I'm going to order a T-shirt.
Yeah.
I love the show. I'm glad somebody brought it back.
My wife already got me one.
See? Always thinking ahead.
Exactly. You have to. And what are we looking forward to from Crash now that you're back in it, back in the saddle, you're at the control board and just going crazy with everything?
Well, we just signed on middle of March. The Christensens owned the stations up in Pipestone for a number of years, generations, in fact. And they had the opportunity to purchase Laverne and the group in Madison, South Dakota. And they decided, hey, we're at that age. We've always wanted a rock station since we were kids, and let's start it. Mylan Ray, again, all of us old DJs know each other some way or another. He said, if you're going to start a rock station, you should see if Crash is interested or busy or what he's doing. So they contacted me. We talked and hit it off immediately because we're all about the same age. We grew up in the same era. We have a lot of the same likes. But if you listen to the radio station, you also hear some very diverse stuff. And so that's basically the three of us coming together and saying, this works. And so far, it has. I've had friends stop me at like the Levitt or whatnot and say, I can't listen all day, every day. But when I pop in different times during the week, and I've been listening for weeks, I've yet to hear the same song twice. How are you doing that? And I said, well,
library.
We're not playing 300 songs. We're playing close to 3,000 songs.
Right.
And we're continuing to build all the time. We're never done.
Yeah.
And that's the fun part. That we remember, again, us old school guys, that when radio had personality and radio wasn't limited to this safe list from some buddy in upstate New York who doesn't know Sioux Falls and the surrounding areas. Yeah. I've been here for decades.
Yeah.
That's right.
Minneapolis boy.
Yeah. Born and raised and been in South Dakota now longer than I was in Minneapolis.
I think I'm getting to that point, too, longer than when I was in Rock Rapids.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're climbing the ladder on that.
Knock on wood.
Exactly.
Still climbing the ladder.
Well, I do this because I have a passion for the arts and entertainment, and that, yes, it does include radio. It's been a while since I've had somebody from radio on, but it's just fun to talk about it. But you and I have gone through, shall we say, changes at various broadcasting companies.
No doubt.
And I was almost leery of having anybody from radio on the show because it just felt weird to have somebody that that you worked in the same building as, and it's just like, okay, do I have a what do I bring up? Can I say, well, I used to work there, but then I got my exit, things along that line.
If you have not been fired in radio or shown the door,
then you didn't
whatever,
do your job
you did
right.
not really do radio. Come on. Absolutely. We've all been, as we called it, perp walked out the door.
Yep.
I did it at a company. It's been about a decade or so now since they showed me the door, or I was leaving and they decided my exit should be a little earlier.
Oh, yeah. Now, between times, weren't you working for a nonprofit?
I had applied. I wanted to be part of the old Sioux Falls Jazz and Blues Society after Rob was stepping down.
Yeah.
I really wanted a shot at that. I did something completely out of radio and became the general manager of like a fruit delivery club for about 10 months. And I had actually then after that had been talking to another radio group, and we were getting very close to me getting back on the air. And then that little thing called COVID hit, which, again, understandably, not only shut down the world, but it shut down hiring into radio as well. And I understood. I didn't take it personally. So that sort of sidelined that. Of course, I had my elderly mother then by that time. And I'm like, well, now we've got to bubble wrap her because this thing is killing old people.
Right.
So I had to take a hiatus there for a while. And then a good friend of mine, his sister, owns a radio station group in Little Falls, Minnesota. And my niece comes up to me at a gathering and she said, Uncle Crash, I'm on the radio. I'm like, okay, now I need to know what the hell's going on here. Go through this. We play the radio. They had just flipped the format on a station there and went to rock. And I listened for about an hour and I said, I could help that radio station from here.
Right.
Got a hold of them. Next thing I know, I've been working remotely for them for about 5 years now, doing voiceover work, imaging, the little zips and zaps and blurbs when you hear a voice guy in between songs. That's me for the group up at Little Falls. And I do some newscasts for them and stuff like that. So I've been able to keep my foot in the door, but there's nothing like rock radio. It's what I think I was actually born to do rock radio. It's just really that simple.
I know it. It's funny how you get into it. I was originally thinking I was going to be a photographer, a news photographer. And when I'm a freshman in high school, I have my own dark room.
Oh,
and then
you were serious
as a freshman, I became the head photographer for the school. And, it was like, okay, I'm headed this way, et cetera. And then get to be a sophomore, and I'm still headed that way. And then the spring semester, called up a friend that lived outside of town. I said, hey, Clark, you coming into town tonight? We can go riding around. Who is this? It's Dave. You got a great voice. You ought to be thinking about radio. And that sparked it. And then from there on, and I don't know what you were doing when you were a kid and hoping that you were going to get into radio, but you start getting out the tape recorder. You start to listen to your own voice. You hate it for a very long time.
Absolutely.
Yep. And then all of a sudden things click, and you get jobs here, you get jobs there, but it's all good. I think of it the way that one of my high school grammar teachers said. He said, there is no education lost. Everything you learn, and of course you learn 80% of life outside of classrooms.
Absolutely.
And 80%, but every little bit. And I remembered that when I got a D in a science class in college, because I wasn't smart enough to know that I could have taken that one pass-fail. But I still remember one thing from that class. Yes.
And being in radio, that's, I grew up thinking I was going to be the voice of the Vikings. Of course, there's only one.
Yeah, Paul.
And they weren't leaving. And the guy before that wasn't going anywhere either.
Yeah.
And so that was the first dream as a child. And then realized, okay, there's one of him. Tom Bernard in Minneapolis was a influence. He was a kid from the north side of Minneapolis, and he had made it to, well, again, the big time. Minneapolis is a major market, and he dominated there in the mornings for years. And it's like, well, I can't be again, there's one Tom Bernard. There's one Howard Stern. I didn't get in it for money or fame. Thankfully. If anything, I'm Sioux famous.
Right.
I'm known around
the Sioux
town.
Empire. Yeah.
Right. It has freaked out ex-girlfriends for years when random strangers just want to come up and say hi or give me a hug or, hey, can I get a picture? And I'm like, I don't know why either, but sure, of course. Let's get a picture. And then I get this look, well, who was that? Why didn't you introduce me? I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, honey.
Right.
I meet a lot of people, and
Yes,
there's a lot of people
exactly.
that I've never met that have listened to me for decades. And because I've been in their room, their car, their companion for years, they feel like they know me. And that's fine. That's maybe the best compliment you can get.
True.
Is that you feel so familiar, it's home or whatever.
You become part of the family.
Yeah, and so I can't complain about that. Absolutely. You want to say hi or take a picture with a Sioux Falls, South Dakota DJ or Laverne, Minnesota DJ? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't care what I'm doing, who I'm with.
Well,
I've got time.
You know, the thing about Laverne and the 101.1 frequency, it's a big stick.
It is 100,000
Powerful,
watts.
yeah.
Yeah. We can be picked up. I had some friends working in Spirit Lake one day, and they were texting me and said, you're coming in loud and clear. I have friends telling me they've carried us up past Marshall to the north, down to about Dakota Dunes to the south, and to the west of Sioux Falls for a ways, too. So it's nice. Yeah, we may be located in Laverne. You bet we're hyped up about Hot Dog Night. It's airing Thursday. Hot Dog Night is tonight then. 64th annual. Come see us. We're handing out hot dogs. It's going to be a ball. I'm going to the wiener dog races. I'm all about it.
Oh, yeah.
But
They've added more than when I worked in Laverne.
But at the same time, again, we are a Sioux Falls radio station, too.
Yeah.
You see me weekly at the Levitt Shell or supporting local bands around. Like you supports theater, that's the way I am with local bands. We have so many talented people in this town.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Actors, singers, guitar players. I know so many damn talented people.
Yeah.
And to be considered one of them is an honor because holy mackerel, there's something in the water here.
I think so. Yeah.
I've said that for decades. I know musicians through many eras,
Mm-hmm.
and there's always been an abundance, an overabundance for a town this size to have this many talented people. And to say, hey, I come from the same place as Mike Miller, Mark Craney, my friend Jim Groth, Dave Wood, Jimmy Goings. I can name drop forever. And they all came from South Dakota.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, so you can, if you're young and you're talented and you're trying to do things, you don't have to be in Nashville, Austin, L.A. anymore.
Yeah.
Name drop, talking to Dave Ellison from Megadeth, and he started his own record label. And when he grew up in Jackson, Minnesota, in that era, he's our age, he moved to Nashville when he got a chance. But he said the first band he signed, he found in rural Washington on YouTube or TikTok or somewhere. And he said, these guys are great. Well, flew out, saw them, and signed them. So, yeah, you can make it from Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I remember when I was at Kello AM and had a mid-morning talk show, mostly, a community event type thing and so forth. Sarah Crosby had just moved to town, and she and her husband, they moved because he's in the medical field. And so she said, again, she had been on, some soap operas, and she'd been on Broadway, et cetera, and she says, the kids in Sioux Falls are just as talented as any kid in Chicago, New York, or Los Angeles. They just haven't had the opportunities. And I think that's what's been so great is we have tons of opportunities now, too.
Yes.
If you're a musician and just a guitarist and a solo act, you got plenty of bars, plenty of street corners during the summer, and you can have fun, make a little extra ching, and so forth. But, I just keep thinking of that, yeah. And now, what you see is you've got all these other places that normally wouldn't have been having music.
Right.
Think of the book co-op. And, places like that all of a sudden people are springing up. And I heard something the other day from my dear friend Jeff Gould, and I really need to put a secret microphone on him sometime and record everything he says. Because he was talking to somebody that used to do a lot of booking of bands. And that guy said, it used to be you had a band on Thursday night maybe, but definitely Friday night and Saturday night. So you know what places have now? They have a solo act with a guitar and a small amp in a coffee shop or a brewery. And it's like, okay, so we got that change, but I still love hearing a live band.
And there are still places that do book live bands on the weekends. But you're right. I noticed it last summer. And again this summer. You said it best. If you really look, you can find live music 7 nights a week in Sioux Falls, South Dakota now. Maybe it's just one guy at this patio or whatever. Yeah. But a lot of people are at least springing now and at least dipping their toes back into the live music scene, which is wonderful because these people need a place to go and play.
Right.
Support and support the locals, because all the nationals were locals when they started. We saw bands. I remember growing up in Minneapolis, seeing them at a bar, and then a year or two later, now they're on TV. They're on a national stage, and they didn't get there by accident.
Right. And, the other thing is, I think of how people are now recognizing that, too. That we have this. We have these things. But I want to make sure that we get to the point that there will be continual live music, nothing made by artificial intelligence.
Yeah. AI replacing artists, AI replacing songwriters, AI. I admit it. I've stumbled across a couple of bands on TikTok. Yes, even the old guys are on TikTok. Yeah. Just get used to that. Anyway, you're listening to it, and
we're not perverts.
But usually, artists will put themselves in a social media post, and I'm like, well, this is obviously an AI art. As they dump the music over, and you start looking into it, oh, it's an AI band, quote unquote.
Yeah,
that ain't a band.
No,
not some. Again, we're sitting in a home studio, but we're not trying to pass ourselves off as a live band or things like that. I mean, there should be always time for people like us and the people that you have been interviewing now for 327 episodes that we don't need to be replaced by AI.
And I heard a great quote from somebody the other day, and it said that if you consider yourself a creator and you use AI, you're not a creator.
You're a computer program.
Yep. Yeah. And it's there's all the different parallels and all the balances that take place in life. And, when we first got to have computers in control rooms and we didn't have to backspin anything along that line, hey, wow, this is great. Oh, there's no cue burn or anything. No scratches.
Right. We're not queuing up those carts. And somebody put a 30-second commercial on a 2.5-minute cart and didn't queue it up. There wasn't any of those flubs.
Yeah.
At the same time, the first time I saw a computer monitor roll into the studios when I was working in Rapid City, South Dakota, I thought, there goes a lot of jobs.
Yeah.
For people of our ilk.
Yeah. Because I think back, people say, well, how much has it changed? And I said, well, I opened a mic for the very first time September 17th of 1980. I was reading the school news for the local station. And at that time, most stations had a morning, a midday, an afternoon, an evening. And if they were 24 hours, they had some guy working.
Somebody was in there overnight, too.
Right, because they were learning. There are very few people anymore in the industry that actually go through any sort of training.
There's very few people left in the industry.
True.
I mean, if you really want to be honest, we talked about it before we went on the air with iHeart, which is the biggest radio ownership group in the country. And they decided they're going to reconfigure again because they need to save $50 million or whatever. So who got cut but the on-air people?
Exactly.
In most markets. They've gone in major markets from maybe 3 or 4 people on each of the 3 or 4 stations to now, no, there's 2 live bodies left in the entire building. And that's their idea of how we're going to save money and then replace us, people like you and I, with AI. I've heard the beginnings of it. I have some musician friends who, without their knowing and without their permission, some of their music is being used as training for AI to songwrite, to whether it's to speak or whatever. The improvements that have come with it in so quickly in the last year or so is frightening for anybody that is in this industry. How fast they want to replace us with these damn computers. There's nothing like that personal connection, I don't think. I'm blessed to work with some very talented people who aren't afraid to, like me, share parts of their lives with the listening audience, make that connection. That's something a computer will never be able to do.
Very true.
You know, you see me down at Saturday. I saw a bunch of people that I knew down in Saturday in the park, down in Grandview Park in Sioux City, Iowa, over the weekend. I run into people I know all the time at the Levitt. I've gotten to the point where I don't even wait for my friends anymore. If there's somebody I want to go see or something I want to do, I go, I'm bound to run into somebody I know wherever I go. I've been here for decades, and I don't want to miss out on this band, you know? So, yeah, we sweated it out in Grandview Park from the national anthem until the drone show that closed the night, and drove home in the middle of the night and hot, sweaty, and big smiles on our faces because there's nothing like live music, live theater, live.
Exactly.
Not
because
we're a little Memorex, but you get my answer.
But it's because, you know, there's that personal connection, like you mentioned, but also just the fact that it's reality.
Yes.
Because somebody might goof up on stage. Oh, did you see how that person covered for him? And I think that was one of the things that I enjoyed so much about all the time that I spent in improv was the way you were covering. You'd have to pick up on everybody, and you had to not just say something. You had to add to the story.
Right.
And so it was this continual, here's where we're going, here's where this is going to end up. And we get there and just had a blast doing it, too.
And always, something I always told every DJ I've ever had the opportunity to try to train and try to improve is same with dancing. You stumble, make it part of the dance.
Right.
Radio is not perfect. Radio should not be perfect. Good radio is not perfect.
I like it.
It is what it is.
I had somebody when I started up on the podcast and so forth that said, you know what? This is better than radio. And I said, well, you know, why? I appreciate it. And he said, you don't care if you make any mistakes. You go longer instead of just 3 to 5 minutes to talk about this event that's coming up this weekend. How much is it? And where do we get tickets? Hey, thanks. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. You have the ability to go as in depth and as long as you want.
Yeah. And the other thing is now to have to, you know, hit the network at the top of the hour or anything.
And not have to clear things with sales and GM. And it I have heard, and again, I don't know, I have been out of corporate radio for a number of years, thankfully. And I had heard through the grapevine that the round of interviews that we grew up doing.
Right.
Oh, who's coming in today? Oh, okay. Just give me a one sheet on the event and we'll do the 3 minute and get them down to the next station. I had heard that some of the corporate radio stations in town were charging for that.
Oh, wow.
Round. I don't know that as gospel, but knowing what I know about corporate radio, iHeart, as we spoke about, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yep. Probably a very good chance it's taking place.
And so places like this and places like social media and small town radio stations that want to talk about the events. You know, I know on Tuesday I talked about the upcoming Dutch Festival coming up in Edgerton.
Yep.
You know, if I come up, I don't want a hot dog or a burger. I want something authentic, something that I cannot pronounce and I have to ask That sounds great. What
Number
is it?
3, please.
Yes. I do it at German Fest. I'll do it at Cinco de Mayo. I don't know what it is, but I want something authentic when I go to these small town festivals. And that's what I love about this time of year, because it's not just the big tours and whatnot. I'm going to go to those and the big events and at the Levitt. But yeah, I want to go to the small town festivals, street dances and the whole 9 yards. This is my time to thrive, is summertime.
All right, my friend. And no, we're not at the end because you're the only guest this week. So we're just going to take a break and come back with more with Crash on the Dave Holly Hour.
Walking through the entryway of Phil's Pub, you can't help but notice the show pics and posters from the heyday of live bands in Sioux Falls. Phil's is back. They're on their way to reestablishing their iconic live music venue status. Come on into Phil's for a great local brew. You might just find yourself seeing some of the performers in those pictures, and a very good chance you'll see new acts that will end up being in pictures too. Phil's Pub, your local dive, with music for the people. Follow them on Facebook and other socials. Keep up to date with who's playing at the pub each week here on the Dave Holly Hour.
Ladies, when it's time to give your nails some love, get that extra special treatment from Quality Nails in Sioux Falls. Manicures and pedicures that look great and make you feel fantastic. Zaya and Tony don't simply provide the service, they provide professional care for your hands and feet, whether you just want the basics or you're looking for an extra special look with added flair. Oh, and guys, it's okay to treat yourself too. Quality Nails on Minnesota Avenue. Call for an appointment, 605-334-1463. Walk-ins welcome.
For him, every day is a Holly day. Here again, Dave Holly.
Welcome back, everybody. Oh, what a great time I'm having along with Crash, because we've worked in the same buildings before. We've talked, we've interviewed, had a great relationship over, well, as you said earlier, decades now.
Yeah.
And so it's somebody I always like when I have somebody that I look up to, and I do to you.
That's just because I'm 6'4".
Well, that's true. But, and you still have hair. But I love it when someone like you compliments myself. And you call it ego, whatever you want, but to me, that is a big thing. And I remember I had been in a interactive dinner theater. I don't even know what was that. It's more if it was just one of the murder mysteries that maybe you saw. And the next day you saw me and said, hey, that was great. What a fun time. And then you even posted something on Facebook coming back, and you called me by the character name.
Hey, if you see something you like, tell people about
Exactly.
it. Tell a friend, tell 2 friends. If you don't like it, tell 1. If you do like it, tell 3.
And the thing is, that's one of the greatest things that I got from my father, complimenting people.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
There's not enough of that goes on.
I know it.
We were in Sioux City again. A female friend and I were down there at Saturday in the park, and she had gone to get a bottle of water or something. She damn near came skipping up after she'd gotten it, and I'm like, "What's up with you?" And she said, "That lady just complimented me on my dress, and it just made my entire day."
Exactly.
And I said, why can't that be more common? Everybody's going through something.
Right.
They might not put it on social media. You may not know it unless you're very close with them. Believe me, everybody has got some crap in their life right now. Mm-hmm. Costs nothing to be nice. Give somebody a compliment out of the blue. Tell them, hey, I love the show. I love the station. I love the dress. I love your shoes.
Yeah.
Love the music. Whatever it is. Man, spread some joy, spread some love. We all need it really bad.
Yeah. When my dad, he ended up living to 92, but when he was going on 70 is when he had a quadruple bypass. And at that time, the book, A Purposeful Life, and it was a workbook too, and every church across the United States had several copies of it. And, the small groups, that's what you were going to do studying. You were going to be on the purposeful life track. And so he had that. But after he made it through surgery, he says, "Hey, Davey, what's my purpose? Why was I saved? Why didn't I die?" And I said, Dad, purpose isn't always curing cancer, solving the world's problems. You ever thought that just maybe the reason you're still alive is because the gal behind the counter at the corner Rexall drug needs you coming in every day, buying your pack of Wrigley, putting it down, paying, and saying, "Hey, sunshine, how are you?"
I had that same conversation with myself a decade ago.
Yeah?
I had a medical emergency on the air, by the way, on live radio and television, where I went almost into a diabetic coma.
Yeah.
I was on the air before the commercial break. They came back, and my morning show partner was sitting there by herself looking terrified when they came back. I never had the guts to rewatch that show. I didn't want to see that. But yes, thankfully to the wonderful doctors, got my insulin and got everything right. I tried to ring the bell and go out, and some reason 10 years ago I decided not to. Spent couple of years going, why?
Right.
Why? How did I survive that? When the nurse comes in and said, "Well, congratulations, you've got the highest blood sugar we've ever seen of somebody not dead or in a coma."
What was yours?
1,200 and something.
Oh,
Yeah, I rang the bell.
no doubt.
Yeah, you're supposed to, by the way, if you're listening, you're supposed to be around 100.
Yeah.
And I let myself go. I was in a bad marriage, the whole 9
Right.
yards, stressed from work, and just really didn't care.
Yeah.
And was not caring and watching things.
So what was your A1C?
I think it was 17.
Okay, yeah, because when I went in the day that they actually did the amputation the next day, but when I went in, mine was 15.9.
See?
Yeah, now it's a 6.1 today.
Right. Yeah. And again, so you ask those kind of questions. My only answer was to do whatever I can good with the platform that I'm given. I'm on the radio. People, for whatever reason, seem to like me. I don't get it. I question your taste sometimes, but God love you. Thank you for listening. I do appreciate it. Don't get that. But if I have that opportunity to talk about a local band or an event or something, I didn't want that constraint of, well, they're not a paying customer or whatever. It's like, well, they're raising money for sick kids. I mean, we should be able to do something here. So again, being afforded working for a small town, quote unquote, small town radio station, independent owners, where I literally got a text from one of the owners yesterday just saying, "Hey, how you doing?"
Wow.
Man, I worked for one company for almost 20 years. I never got that from the general manager. Are you kidding me? I have more contact with the station owners. It's incredible. So they offer me that same thing. I asked them, am I cool to talk about, hey, there's a killer band at the Levitt. If you're in Sioux Falls, you should really go down. It's cool. It's free, da-da-da-da. Hey, if you're over in Spirit Lake, this is going on this weekend. It doesn't have to be just about Laverne and things we're directly involved with. No, absolutely. Let's talk about everything. I love it.
Yeah.
Which is what you get to do. We get to
Exactly.
talk about
We
everything
talk about-
that we think is cool
Yeah.
and that other people will find cool too.
Right. And if they don't, no worries.
Yeah, no big deal. You don't have to go. I got a lot of FOMO,
Yeah.
which is fear of missing
Missing
out.
out.
Because when you're talking on, sometimes I talk on the air, there's 4 things going on, of course, for the 4th of July. I'm like, well, I'm not missing Saturday in the park, but man, all that stuff looks really cool too. So it's wonderful to be in a community. We're 250,000+ people.
Yeah.
In an area where we're afforded so many opportunities to see amazing entertainment. Small town dinner theater to something at the Orpheum to something at the Denny. There's a show at the Levitt. I've talked to current and former council members and saying, again, I was involved with Jazz Fest for a number of years. I loved that festival like I had given birth to it. When it went away, it made me very sad. The Levitt has been a wonderful fill-in, but we have 300,000 people in the immediate area. I think there's room for more. I think if
definitely.
somebody, and I'd love to be involved, I'm going to throw it out there, somebody wanted to bring back a Jazz Fest-esque festival in the fall, maybe after the Levitt season, before it gets too chilly. We do it out at the Birdcage, or maybe we use the Levitt grounds. What are they going to do at the old Smithfield area when they clear that out, and the old SPS over on the east side?
Yeah.
There's opportunities for more entertainment, and I think the town has shown that it will handle it. There have been many nights where there is multiple events going on in and around the area, and I get pictures from them on social media, and they're all full. People like to be entertained, and we've got this window to do it.
The thing is, when we talk about how incredibly talented this community is, people forget how many are actually making a living at it.
And that's even more impressive.
Right. And then that means that you need to go out and support as well.
Yes.
I remember, Matt D., he and I are good friends, and one time he put on there, you want to support your local artists? Buy their T-shirts.
Yes.
Buy their merchandise, because they may be getting a lot of downloads on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, whatever, and making maybe $16.
Right.
Yeah.
No, a T-shirt, a CD will get them, physical media will get them down the road.
Exactly.
We've preached that for years. I've got good friends that travel out of Omaha or Kansas City, across the region. Man, go to the show. Buy a new T-shirt. Hey, they've got new designs. You bet. I'd love to have one. I'm doing one right now for a friend of mine down in Omaha, the Chris Lauder Band.
Yeah.
I've known Chris for 20-odd years.
And didn't he recently play at Phil's?
He actually, he played at Phil's. He played at Saturday in the Park. I'll get in a plug for Chris. He will actually be at the Levitt on my birthday, opening up for Joanne Shaw Taylor the end of this month. So,
fantastic!
I will see you in the front row for Chris and Joanne Shaw Taylor.
Yeah, and at that point, we'll be the same age until December 15th.
Yeah, well, I catch you for a little bit, but yeah. So again, it's $20, maybe $25.
Right.
Come on. I mean, a lot of times these bands are playing for free. There's no cover charge.
Right. Yeah.
A lot of times the drinks are pretty reasonable. Man, the band could use a little something.
Yeah.
And, please continue to go out, support when you see the bands at Phil's or wherever.
And the other thing that I always tell people, because they know that I go to a lot of things, and one time was watching somebody on, I think it was the Severance patio, and so that a guy sits down next to me and he says, so what do you suppose they're getting paid?
Peanuts.
I said, well... first of all, it's none of your business. Yes, I do have an idea.
Yeah, I've got a good idea as well.
Right.
And it ain't as much as you think.
Yeah, and then I say, well, now, do you see the piano, the electric piano they're playing? Well, yeah. If they got lucky, they might have found a sale on it for $900.
Right.
Oh, and then what's it on? It's on a stand.
And their sound.
Yeah,
and maybe a banner to advertise who they are. And
all these things. And I said, but here's the other thing. First of all, are you enjoying it? Well, yeah, it's great. There's also this thing called 30 years of rehearsals.
That 10,000 hours thing we talk about.
Yeah, and people forget that when they're taking a look at things. It's funny because, we will not have a problem going to a bar and paying upwards now of $8, $9 on some drinks.
Sure.
But we can't throw $5 or $10 in the tip jar.
This is what I'm saying. How much did it cost you to get in here?
Right.
I want my money back. Well, you paid nothing to sit down.
Right.
You're on a patio on a beautiful night on a Wednesday in Sioux Falls. You've got your $9 foo-foo drink in your hand and a poo-poo platter coming out for $20. Throw a 5 or a 10.
Yeah.
And if you appreciate the music and the effort.
Yeah, I always try to give at least 5 per person.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. And that's, I watch a lot of, sextets and mini orchestras and so forth. And
Right.
So it's money, but it's money well spent.
It helps them pay the bills as well.
Yeah.
Because, as you said, they're not making as much as you think
Exactly.
they are. Yeah. So those fives and tens go a long, long way. On behalf of the musicians, who a lot of you are my friends, yes, tip the musicians.
Were you ever a musician?
I've had people over the years go, weren't you the drummer in Rock and Roll Damnation at one time? No, that was Rev. Weren't you the guitar player? No, man, I wish. Honestly, I wished my entire life I had that ability. My fingers aren't long enough for the guitar and didn't have the right dexterity. I have rhythm, but not drummer's rhythm. That is a completely different animal. And so the first time I got bit by the bug, it was the day after my 15th birthday. And I got tickets to go see the Eagles, Steve Miller Band, and Pablo Cruz from my mom out at the Met Stadium in Minneapolis.
Oh, my.
65,000 people, general admission. And that's my introduction to live music. I had never been to a concert before my 15th birthday. Mom drops me and my best friend, my stepbrother and his cousin out there. We're 14, 15, 16 years old, milling around the parking lot with college students. And, oh, yeah, you bet. We'll drink this. We'll drink that. Woo, wow. What an introduction to rock and roll, I tell you what. But the next thing you know, when you're dancing in the rain with 65,000 people to Jungle Love from the Steve Miller Band, and, the Eagles are on their Hotel California tour, and Joe Walsh is new to the band, and they're going to throw in Rocky Mountain Way and some of his stuff too, Funk 49. And again, you walk away from that experience and go, I can't play a lick, but I need to be around this. My mom also worked at KSTP TV and radio in the city. So
Really?
she was in the accounting department, however. So she'd want me to follow in her footsteps and do the numbers, and I've always been good at numbers. I come from an accountant and an entomologist professor. So numbers are second nature to me. I didn't want to be the guy sitting in a studio or a cubicle with the pocket protector and the calculator and whatnot. I thought, man, I got to talk to people. I got all this random crap in my head. That's not an accountant.
Yeah.
Man, radio, though. I'd wander down the hallway and I'm like, man, those guys are wearing shorts and flip-flops like I'm wearing today and do every day during the summer. There's no dress code. Man, they sure seem to laugh a lot at work. They play music. How do I do that?
Right.
That was the bug. Of course, Mom being in that industry and seeing the turnover, she tried to direct me away from radio with every ounce of her being. Do anything but that. Man, when you're bred for it, you're bred for it. So,
did she teach you business math?
Oh, I knew all kinds of business math. And then she's like, you're not going to make crap in this radio. You sure you want to do this? That math,
right?
You're
good at it.
Yeah, you sure you want to do something with that? Well, yeah, So, hey, I admit, I spent first couple of years, a lot of ramen noodles, macaroni and cheese.
Oh, mac and cheese is my favorite. And then you could take if you had enough left over with the cheese, pop some popcorn and put that in with the butter too.
Absolutely. Popcorn was cheap, man.
Yep.
We didn't make much. It was a very much a passion play getting into radio when you're making literally $1,000 a month.
Yep.
And that was a good starting wage right out of school back in the day. I got several offers. Oh, we can offer you a split shift in Nowhere, Missouri for $700 a month. No, I'm holding out for $1,000.
Yeah.
Can you imagine trying to make it on $1,000? And I did.
And we did.
And we did. We made ends meet. You rented a cheap apartment. Maybe you got a roommate. But man, radio, you got free concert tickets every once in a while.
Right.
A station T-shirt or a band T-shirt that came through. Or occasional free CD and got to meet some of the bands. That was something else. And we talked before we went on the air. I grew up in South Minneapolis. Me and my friends listened to a lot of these bands that years later I got to interview. And all of a sudden, I name drop again. I get a random call. Jack Blades from Night Ranger used to check on me. When I was working for Chuck Brennan at the Badlands during that short experiment. There were a couple of rock stars that had come through that we had made a connection for whatever reason, exchanged phone numbers, and I would get a random phone call. Hey man, just checking in. How you doing? Jack Blades was one, and Jack Russell from Great White. I don't know what the connection was. I'm again blessed. I've been afforded the opportunity to do more stuff than I would have ever imagined growing up as a kid on the south side of Minneapolis, who did his entire radio career in South Dakota.
Yeah. Who's the artist that you did not get the chance to see that you really wanted?
Man, we just talked about it this morning at a friend's house, and we're all in about the same age range, and we've got a couple of friends that are about 15 years older. And I remember talking to one of them one night, and we were talking about different bands we've seen. And he said, man, that first time I saw Led Zeppelin, he just trailed off after that. I just sort of went numb because John Bonham passed literally a couple of months before they were going to play Minneapolis, and it was going to be my first opportunity to ever see the mighty Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
And I wore black to high school for a week after that. We were going to camp out to get tickets. I never, obviously Hendrix, the Beatles, all of those passed before ever had the opportunity. I don't know why I never saw Queen.
Oh, wow.
They played Minneapolis several times back in the day. I was a fan. I don't know why. What happened? Was it money? Was it whatever? I've had that regret, obviously, since Freddie passed. And, sure, I mean, my daughter and granddaughters went to see Freddie, Queen with Adam Lambert, the kid from American Idol. And, of course, they raved about it and whatnot. Well, they were too young to know Freddie. I showed them Bohemian Rhapsody. I'm like, sorry, start with this, and then we'll go into some old videos and the charisma and the stage presence that Freddie had. It was more than a concert. It was musical theater. It was everything. And so, that one was a big one. I'm fortunate, again, to have worked in radio a long time and be old enough to have seen just about everybody.
Right.
And some of them multiple times.
Real rock and roll.
Yes. No AI.
Yep.
I mean, you go to enough shows, when they're playing backing tracks.
Yeah, exactly.
You go, wait a minute. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 guys on the stage, and I hear this, and that ain't up there. And I'm not gonna ruin those bands' reputations, but there are bands that have played here in Sioux Falls recently that use backing tracks and crap.
Right.
Use real musicians.
You want to use background music, in terms of the backtracks. Go to karaoke.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. I mean, it's a fun way for people to sit down and enjoy a night, have a few. And now if at this age they would only start the damn things earlier. What do you mean it's from 9 to midnight?
Dave, I knew there was another place we would get along. We have a bar out east of town in Rowena called the Red Rock Bar.
Red Rock.
And that
used to go there often.
Yeah, that's sort of our home. That's our neighborhood bar for us. Even though it's on the other side of town for me, that's our home base. And we finally got the ownership. We're going, we get it. You want that late crowd. You're never going to see us. If you keep doing bands 9 to midnight, we're never going to be there. Man, I want to be heading home by 9, 10 o'clock. Start it at 7. I'll come out for a couple of sets, you bet. But I'm getting to that age where not a lot of good stuff is going to happen to me after 10 p.m. Whether it's driving home in the dark or whatever.
Oh, exactly.
No, I'm more than willing to come and support. Absolutely. I love live music in my time frame.
What do you think we need now in this community to increase the arts and entertainment even more so than it has?
Wow, that's such a great question. We're getting afforded opportunities. Places like Phil's bringing back live music again, and so many other places. Again, dipping that toe, realizing, man, there's so many great, and I will say great bands in this area that don't have the places to play. There was just a dearth of that. So just seeing that come back and just awareness, support. they're working their asses off. You may think, oh, it's just small town dinner theater. No, man, they've been rehearsing for weeks. They have poured their hearts into this thing, from costumes to backdrops to remembering their lines. Hell, I'd been asked to be in a movie, and I had to back out because I'm like, I don't know if I have the right memory mindset anymore to be able to memorize my lines and give a performance that you would believe, that I'm not just like reading it from crib notes or whatever. I did plays back in high school and whatnot like that. I'm not wired like that anymore. Now it's more, well, if you want a script, can I freeform this and get close? Then I'll give it a shot. And as long as my parts is like this big, I don't want to be the star. I want to be like dude number 4 in the background.
Oh, the credits. Voice, Dave Holly.
Yeah, I'm good with that. You want me to voice over something? You hit me up.
Yeah, in fact, you talk to the dinner theater, Old Town, they rehearse like 5 to 6 weeks, and then they have a 5-week run with it as well.
Yeah, I mean, it is a commitment. These people are committing to putting on this show. I have friends that had season tickets. They've gone down, a group of 4 women have gone down for the season every year. They absolutely love it.
Oh,
no matter what the play is, they're just like, oh, we've got to go.
Yeah, and here's the other thing. I think they market it wrong. They talk about, hey, it's a dinner theater, and here's the show that's going on. What you really need to say is, for the price of the greatest meal, homemade meal you'll have in the state of South Dakota, we'll throw in a free show.
Right. We're going to give you a fantastic meal, and you get the benefit of a show that these people have worked their butts off.
That's for sure.
It's fun.
Well, we've both worked our butts off in different regards, in ways of trying to stay active and in some way on the air. You're back on live radio, and where I am here recording, but I always have to take the opportunity whenever I can get somebody, record then, Wednesday night, produce it, comes out Thursday morning. And so looking forward to the response that people are going to have with you being on here.
We'll see. I will definitely, obviously, share it on my social media once you get it out. So.
Yep. And, as a first-time guest, you get one question for sure at the end. And how you answer that might depend on whether there's an additional.
Okay.
All right. So the question is, when you are not part of the arts and entertainment scene, what do you like to be entertained by?
Wow. If I watch something, I'm not upsetting the TV people. I have no problems with your medium, especially in the summertime. My TV rarely goes on. And if it does, I find my way into documentaries, something that will, and usually music documentaries, quite honestly. I've found some really cool stuff on the Beatles and bands that hit their prime before my time and laid the groundwork for all the music I love. So I'll watch a Hendrix documentary one night, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, whatever. But it's live music. And in the fall, fantasy football. I admit it, yes. Hi, my name's Crash. I'm a fantasy football nerd. I've gotten to the point where, I founded a league back in the 80s that is still going in Minneapolis.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm an OG nerd.
All right, man.
So yeah, fantasy football and as much live music and live music videos as I can watch.
All right, Crash, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Dave.
you taking the
great.
time.
I appreciate you continuing to have another voice. I'm not alone in this. We're
That's
in
right.
this together. We're pushing all the great entertainment we have in this community. Please go out and support.
And yes, we'll be back to wrap up the Dave Holly Hour in just a moment. Looking for a place with great music, great people, and laid-back atmosphere? Head to Phil's Pub. Every Thursday, join the fun at Trap the Queen of Spades, where every game helps support community cats and your chance to win keeps getting bigger. On July 24th, don't miss the 1270s as they make their Phil's debut, bringing the biggest rock and roll hits of the 50s, 60s, and 70s for a night of classic favorites. Grab some pizza, grab your friends, make yourself at home at Phil's Pub. See more at Phil's Facebook page.
Arts and entertainment lovers, you hit the mark. It's the Dave Holly Hour.
Thanks again to my great guest, Crash. Listen to him on the Rock Farm, FM 101.1. Hey, as we wrap up episode 327, let's give our weekend eve toast to all the small towns and cities having festivals and fairs yet the rest of the summer. Our show website, DaveHolleyHour.com. Check out the updated look. Check the trivia page to find out what's next week's theme at Chasers. Don't forget, you can listen to any episode anytime you want there. Also, the show available on your favorite podcast platform. Thank you all for supporting local arts and for taking the time to download so many episodes. I encourage you to find your art. Find the art you enjoy, find the art you're interested in trying, and we shall see you in the arts. As the Sioux Falls Arts Council says, together we art. As Arts South Dakota says, home is where the art is. As I say, put some art in your heart. Remember, my name is Dave Holley, and for me, every day is a holiday.
The Dave Holley Hour has been brought to you by Trio Jazz Club, Sioux Falls' premier jazz club. Enter as friends, leave as family. Phil's Pub, your local dive with music for the people. Chasers Food and Spirits, XL Chiropractic, and Quality Nails. Stay up to date on the show by following on Instagram and Facebook. All episodes available anytime at DaveHolleyHour.com. The Dave Holley Hour is produced in the Dipsy Doodle Studios by Big D Entertainment.
Thanks for listening.